Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create our first Flutter app. Prerequisite for this tutorial, you need to have Android Studio or Xcode installed, and then you can use an IDE and install the Dart and Flutter plugins in the IDE. Or better still, you can install the Dart and Flutter plugins in Android Studio. I've not tried for Xcode. Okay, and then you need to have a fair knowledge of the Dart programming language. And you can find more of that at dartland.org. Okay, so just to start quickly, let's jump right into Visual Studio Code and start to create our first app. I have VS Code here. Okay, and I'm going to go here. So you can see how I have my Dart and Flutter extensions installed from Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so you should have yours installed also. And then before you start, you can also come to a terminal here and run Flutter Doctor to see whether you have any issues. Okay, so I'm not having that much of an issue. I'm gonna jump right in. So to start with, you have to press Control Shift and then P. Okay, you see how you have new Flutter project here. If you don't have, you can search Flutter. Once you have your Dart and Flutter plugins installed, this should show up. If it's not showing up, just type it out, it will come. So I'm gonna hit enter the project. Okay, so here it is. We can type the project name, my Flutter app, and you can see how I'm being warned that I should type everything in lowercase. So you have to make sure everything is lowercase. So app and underscore here. Okay, okay. So I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm being asked a place to store, and I'm choosing this folder. I'm creating it here. Okay, so you can see how the command flutter create is being run. So this command runs and then creates Flutter project and directory is specified. Okay, so you can see how we have this lib and text folder here. Yeah, so let's wait for this to go away. I think it's running Flutter packages get in the background. Okay, so to run this from the command line, if you are not in Visual Studio, you can just cd to the directory where you place it in. Just type this command flutter run. So this should be good. And then this text folder still has some issues. Let's wait. We are going to delete it anyway. Okay, so the problem is gone. So we are not going to need this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the folder. Yeah, I want to delete it. Okay. So once the project has run successfully, you should be having this over here. And I want you to navigate to the lib folder. That's where you find your main.dat file. So we have a bunch of stuff here, some beautiful app, and we are going to run this first, and then later I'll explain what's actually happening. So I'm going to press F5. Let me launch this one. So I'm launching the emulator. Okay, once this is done, you should be having a similar screen to this one. So we're going to walk through this here. Okay, so you can see how the first thing we have here is an import statement importing a package flutter material.dat. This is a library which contains all the material widgets which implements material design. And in Flutter, almost everything is a widget. Okay, so this is the main method, run app, my app. Okay, so this is the entry point to your app. Okay, and next to that you have this class, my app class, which you called here extends a stateless widget. Okay, so you are going to come across stateless and stateful widgets. Okay, so I'm going to explain what's a stateless and what's a stateful widget. Okay, assuming you have a switch. Okay, so at some point in time, the switch can be on or off, right? Okay, so what this stateless widget does is actually when your main body, as in the body of your app, is using a stateless widget, means that when using a widget like a switch, you can't really turn it on and off because you declare that your widget is stateless, so the whole app is never going to change. The state of your app is never going to change, or more or less, the state of your switch is never going to change because it's in a stateless form. But if it's stateful, you are trying to say that it's going to change at some point in time in the app's life cycle. So at some point in time, you can click to turn it on or to switch it off. Okay, and then next to that, we have this widget build context and all this. Okay, so basically we have this build method. This build method is actually the first thing your app calls to when it's building. Okay, so this build method is contained in your class. Yeah, okay, so your app calls to this build method anytime it's, it's being created. Okay, so inside this build method, you can see how we have material app. Okay, so like I said, remember how we imported this material dot that, and I said this library which implements material design in our Flutter app, right? Yeah, so there it is. This the material design we're going to use here, and then in this material app, the material app takes some arguments, one of which is title. Okay, so the title is a string. Okay, naturally the title is what we see when we minimize. You can see how we have a title here and another uh, title here. These are two different titles, and I'll get to that. This title is actually the title you see when you minimize the app. Okay. So in our app here, when you try to minimize this, you can see we have Flutter demo. Yeah. So this where it is. This Flutter demo is actually the one here, not the one in the main app, but the one you see when you minimize the app. Okay, you can see how this is actually different from this, but then this is another title which is somewhere else. Then we'll get to that one. Okay, so our material app also takes an argument called the theme of the app, which is the theme we want to use for our app in simple terms. And then you can see how by default it's set to color.blue. So you can see that here we have this button to be blue and our app bar to be blue. Okay, now we can actually change this app bar color in a different way. But then what this theme actually does is when you use a button or a floating action, a floating action button or an app bar, it recognizes our whole app that the theme of the app is blue. So you'll see that when we change this to green or something, you can see how everything will change. Okay, yeah. So you can see how this has changed and then this has changed. Material app. You can see we have another argument called home and how this returns my home page, and this is my home page here, and it takes a constructor argument. This is the class my home page and extends a stateful widget. And like I said earlier on, a stateful widget means that at some point in the application's lifecycle it's going to change. Okay. And then actually this stateful widget actually holds the state of the app. Okay. Okay. And then you can see how we have this my home page and all of this. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this. We'll get back to them later. I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to remove this. Okay. Okay. So what this actually does is you can see how we called this class here, and then we are providing more or less arguments for it, right? Okay, so this looks something like similar to this. You have a function called my function. Okay, so notice how we are creating this function here as my function, all right? But then anytime we try to call it, we have to provide this argument. Else, you see how my function is not already defined. Okay, so let's assume for now I'm trying to call it here. Then I will have to provide this integers like this, and then a string called name, and then when I run this function, it runs, right? So anywhere I'm calling this function, I have to provide this argument, because inside this function, the function is actually going to use this argument to do something. We're going to display this one and do some calculation with this. Okay, so that's somewhat similar to the class here. So in case of a class, it's called a constructor. Okay, so this thing you are seeing here, the title here, is actually a variable. You have to declare a variable here. Okay, let me put it on top so as not to confuse anyone. Okay, so the variable will be a title here, and then you call this dot title. Then this keyword is just referencing the current class that we are in. Okay, so it means that anywhere we are going to call this class, which is same as this class, we'll have to provide this title, which will be used somewhere else. Down here, you can see how I said earlier on that this stateful widget actually holds the state. And where is the state? This is the state. It's creating the state with this method called create state, and then returning this my homepage class state as the state for this stateful widget. And then when you come down, you see this class here, and then with its state and extending to my home page. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a cycle here, and don't worry, once you're able to get your head around it, that's all. Okay, so inside here, that's ultimately what you are returning. Okay, we have this variable counter, which by default is 0. Okay, so and in that, anything preceded by an underscore means that's a private. So this class is a private class, and this variable is a private variable. Okay, so inside we have one method which we will call someday. So the first this method is increment counter. Okay, and we have a counter variable here. You can see how we are incrementing counter here. Okay, but then the strangest thing you will notice here will be this thing called set state. Okay, so what set state actually does is, since we are saying this function should do something in this set state method, whenever you click something that performs this function, it's going to rebuild the whole app more or less. It's going to rebuild the whole app. and then change the state. So if at first the counter was 1 and then now you change it to 2, it means that the app has to be rebuilt to render 1, uh, to render 2 on the screen instead of 1. Okay, so inside here we have another build method here, and you can remember we had a build method earlier. Okay, so like I said earlier, the build method in the class is called, when I'm trying to render, sorry, the build method in the class is called whenever you're trying to render some widgets onto the screen, or whenever your Flutter app is building. Okay, so this your build method returns a scaffold. Okay, so you can see a scaffold as more or less a scaffold. Yeah, so you stand on scaffold to wash buildings and houses, or clean, or paint, or all those stuff. That's what it's actually also doing here, more or less. So this scaffold is providing us with something like a sheet to actually draw and paint our stuff on it. Okay. So one of the parameters of the scaffold is the up bar. Okay, and you can see it takes this up bar, and then this widget up bar takes some argument. You can place your cursor on the widget to see the arguments it takes if you're using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you can see how some of the arguments are leading, automatically imply leading, title and actions and flexible space and all that. Now we're just going to put a title there for now. For this title, it's actually what you're going to see here. Okay, so the Flutter demo homepage, that's for this title, and it's contained in this text. Okay, now actually this text takes an argument for a string. So by default, it's supposed to take something like this. Alright, it's supposed to take something like this. And maybe you can say Flutter demo app. Oh, come on. Flutter demo app, whatever. Okay, so it's a string, and then we know that, remember how we declared this variable already, title. Remember it's as an argument here. So you see that in this class, we said that anywhere we are calling this class, you have to provide this title argument. And then, yeah, when we call this class here, we actually provided this title argument as a string. So that's going to be used. Okay. So in order to access this argument, we would have to use this thing called widget. So we'll type a widget dot and it will access this variable from the class title. I know it looks a little bit of confusing here, but don't worry, as we go on, you will really understand it. Okay. So this whole thing is actually not anything new. It's just another representation of something like this. Okay, so I'm going to clean this and that. Okay, so the scaffold, like I said, it takes a lot of arguments. Up bar and then body is another one. Okay, so this body is actually the body of the app. So remember how we said app bar and then text and everything goes here, goes up here. Okay, so this body is actually the remaining part of your app. Everything here goes into the body. Okay, and here we're using the centered widgets because we're saying that in the body we want to put whatever we're going to put in the body in the center of the screen or in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and then this center as a child of column. and then columns take children. Some stuff in Flutter, some widgets in Flutter take children, some take child. Okay, so some like text, center, and then button and those stuff, they take argument of child. Don't worry, we'll get to what child and children actually mean. And then some also take children. Those that take children actually include the columns, the rows, the list views, and the stack. We'll actually get to them later. Okay, so this column takes a list of children widgets. I said in Flutter, almost everything is a widget. Okay, then the widgets are here. We have one text here which says you have pushed the button this number of times. So you have pushed the button this number of times, and then the current value of the counter. Remember how we have the counter already up here, sorry, here, and then this function actually increments it plus one anytime we press it. Okay, so the reason why we used a column was actually because we wanted to place this widget one here followed by the next one under. Okay, so next to that you can see how we have this floating action button. So now we are actually in the still in the scaffold, all right, not in the body. See that we are still in the scaffold. That's the other argument, one of the other arguments for the scaffold to take a floating action button. You can see how we have a floating action button here with an on press, and then the tooltip. This tooltip is what actually counts when you long press the icon. Then this is a child of an icon dot add. And you can see that here a floating action is the child of icon dot add. This on press is the method increment. You can see how is increment counter is actually this method. There are actually many ways of doing it. You can do it this way and actually call this method. Okay, yeah, and it still be the same thing. Okay, so that will be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're gonna dive more deep into the Flutter widgets. Thank you.